Hello guys, welcome back to my Positivity YouTube channel. Today I'm going to read a very heartbreaking and touching short story entitled White Darling. Hope you enjoy it. White Darling. After Hafizullah Amin came to power, about 12,000 of our compatriots went missing. Among those missing was Fazil Ali, the father of 3 children. In the fall of 1979, Kabul, Kartasaki, next to Shah, was the parent of the cold night, and we suffered from the lack of a hearing device among the thin and worn quills such as willow. An 8-year-old girl like me may not understand much about housekeeping and caring for 2 children, but I was like a nanny to my little brothers in the absence of my mother. Naim was a sheriff for 5 years, from Faiz for 2 months, and it was easier to calm him down. But Faiz needed his mother and warm meal, which was beyond my power. I was warming my hand with my warm breath when Naim said, "When will he come?" I, who was more unaware of him, said that I also do not know, that the weather is not dark, but there must be a lot of work in the bakery. What do I know? Let's count to 100. Naim, who has always loved shooting arrows, happily accepted, and we started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When the sound of the gate chain broke, our count and Naim shouted happily, "Oh, my mother!" I hurried out of the house. The cold north was coming in through the worn-out tissues of my clothes in every way, and the 4 pillars of my body were shaking. I said in a weak, frozen voice, "Who are you?" Hearing my mother's voice, "Open, Fariba, the weather is cold soon." I opened the gate. I forgot the cold air until I smelled the sweet smell of hot bread and grabbed my mother's bread. Fariba said slowly. Now it's fall from my hand to the ground. We entered the house together. Naim was also very happy to see my mother and hot bread. My mother hugged Faiz without a break until she arrived and started breastfeeding. Faiz's eyes shone like a star in the dark of the night. It was clear that she was happy for my mother to come too. I asked, "Why are you so late?" Faiz cried aloud. I think she had a sore throat. My mother opened her black headband and said, "I came earlier, but a woman arrived at the last minute and said she has 15 loaves. I could not say no because we have no flour and 4 loaves of bread." I took out a piece of bread and said, "It is white flour. It is very good." My mother said, "But wait until your father comes. Let's eat together." I got up and pulled the teapot out from under the blanket and brought a cup of tea to my mother. My mother laughed when she saw the tea and said, "Since when does the tea feel cold? Did you hide it under the blanket?" It was getting cold and we had to reheat it. "This kind is better." My mother laughed out loud and said, "Well done, smart girl." My mother and I used to tell stories about women's bakeries and women in every house, and we laughed when my father entered the house. He was in a hurry and hugged Naim and said to my mother, "Get up, woman." His breath was still in Fai's mouth. He got up and said, "Is it charity?" My father said, "No, not at all. If we do not run away now, we may not see the morning light. So hurry up." My mother took a piece of her dress and told me to get up. "Get up, girl. Don't you hear?" I hugged the hot bread tightly and walked out from behind my mother. We had not yet reached the end of the alley when several people came toward us. Seeing them, my father hurried to the house and told him not to stand, so he would come soon, but it was too late. Four men who, in my opinion, were very tall and strong entered the house. I remember well. They took Naim like a piece from my father's arm and threw it away. These men were, whoever they are, they understood nothing of humanity and kindness. They beat my father and forced him out of the house. I was completely trapped between my mother's cries and my father's cries for help, unable to move and standing motionless. It was not yet halfway through the night, but all the neighbors were asleep. No one heard our scream to help us. My mother was trying to grab my father by the arm, while Faiz was in his arm. With four large men, my mother had no power to free my father, and they took my father with them. I will never forget my father's last glances and his cries for help.